Hey, thank you all for joining us today. I'm Pramod Shentry. I'm your host for today's Community Cafe. Before we start, I'd like to remind everyone that the cafe is for the community, and we encourage everyone to post any questions they have in the chat area. We will have Q&A at the end, and we'll make sure to answer all of your questions. On the call, so without further ado, on the call, we have Kerisha Stewart, the creator of the Guardian app that was a Securathon winner for Best Open Source Project. So glad you can join us, Kerisha. How are you doing today?
I'm glad to be here. I'm doing pretty okay today.
Fantastic, fantastic. So, we were just chatting about it earlier. So, where are you? Where are you based currently? Right.
Currently, I'm in Trinidad and Tobago, and I'm a senior software engineer at a company called Telio Systems Limited.
Oh, fantastic. Great. Yeah, we were chatting yesterday. You've been there quite some time. What got you into tech?
For me, I would say personally, when I was younger, I used to play computer games a lot. I didn't have a console. I used to play games on my computer. My sister and I, we used to play with each other and play against each other. So just from that, just from playing games, I was like, okay, I like computers, without having any idea of software development or software engineering. Just because the fact that we played games on the machine, I wanted to do something with computers.
Was there a favorite game you guys played?
Oh, a favorite is we really enjoyed playing at that time GTA, Grand Theft Auto.
Okay, good. That I played Grand.
I was
Yeah,
um,
no, it's good.
and some other stuff like Shrek and some other childhood games. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, great. 3D pinball. Nice. Well, great. Obviously you started with gaming. What has this journey been like for you in the tech space?
So I started off in gaming, but as I said, I was completely unaware of what I was getting into. So I know I wanted to do something with computers. So I did my degree in electrical and computer engineering here at the University of the West Indies. And I was exposed to programming there for the first time, like actually building something and getting a tangible output. And from that experience is where I actually thought that I liked this thing and I could see myself getting more into this space. So because of my exposure to that, there is where I could say my coding journey actually began.
Great. That's fantastic. Yeah. And of course, how did you hear about Pangea?
Right. So a colleague of mine, I call him my mentor. He's on the call here. Owen Williams. He did not introduce me to Pangea, but he is the one who actually got me into the whole idea of doing hackathons and participating and networking and stuff like that. And in my search for hackathons, I used the site DevPost. I saw Pangea was offering something, and it looked interesting to me because every time I think about security, it sounds like you have to be an expert or like have a certain knowledge to get into the field to produce something meaningful. But when I saw that you were offering APIs to get what seemed like a complex task done, that really drew me to the hackathon. The barriers seemed to be reachable, attainable. So I was like, let me try something here.
That's great. I mean, that's the whole purpose for our platform, right? Making it easy to secure your app as you build it, right? So, well, good. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and do the demo. We can showcase your app, and then afterwards, we have some follow-up questions, and we can kind of walk through some of the features and why you chose that, and kind of go from there. So, give me 1 second here.
Since we have the expert on the call, why don't we have Kerisha maybe talk through this from the beginning? Promote us if you start at the beginning of the video. Kerisha, if you wouldn't mind, maybe just doing a little voiceover for us. That would be super helpful. We'd love to hear more about your app.
Great.
Yeah, sure. That is not a problem.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks, Grace. All right. Well, I'll go ahead and play this, and here we go.
So you could pause. Yeah. Well, basically, the ideal intent of the app is, well, from the skit that was done to demonstrate the app, it just showed one use case or possible use case where doctor will have their patients records, and only the doctor or whoever is the individual that created these notes, the authorized user, will be able to see the information. So if you look at the screen, you would see stuff like phone number and email address and the person's name. They are all redacted. But further, when you watch the video, you would see for an authorized individual, the information will be displayed. And if an unauthorized individual tries to access the information, it will be redacted. So, and the redaction is done using Pangea's API, the Redact API.
Did I go too far, Kerisha?
No, that's okay.
Okay.
Oh, you fast forward it?
A little bit.
Okay, that's okay. That's no problem. So, only unauthorized users allowed to also add stuff and edit and make any modifications. So I guess you could fast forward. I'm not sure if you'll see like the below to where the unauthorized user tries to access.
Oh, yes, I remember.
And something that's happening behind the scenes as well using Pangea's audit log API. So when it reaches the point of an unauthorized user, a log will be sent and stored using Pangea's audit logs. And we'll see how it is used in the ending of the video. So he's an unauthorized user with malicious intent, trying to access a patient's record for whatever nefarious reasons, and he is unable to view the information. It will say unauthorized user. And while this is happening, I get a notification saying that somebody tried to view my notes. So I got a WhatsApp notification and also get a notification on Microsoft Teams.
That's great.
I, knowing he doesn't have any access, he attempts to flee the scene.
It's a nice acting here too.
And so the information that was stored on the audit log, Pangea's audit logs, I use ChatGPT interface to reach out to that information, and then you have a chatbot where you can get a summary of activity on your account, or yes, on your notes, and if any unauthorized stuff, and how long and the frequency and stuff like that. You can ask it whatever you like. I guess we don't really need to show this part. because that really sums up using Pangea's APIs for the intent.
Great. All right. I like the facial recognition, how you had that for identifying authorized, unauthorized users. So, all right. Well, great. Thank you, Kerisha. I know in our call yesterday, we talked about the audio. Apologies for that last minute narration request.
It's okay.
Yeah. So, couple of things. I mean, so I noticed, I mean, obviously the features you have listed, I mean, you have redaction, you had the face recognition for malicious users. I love the fact that you added ChatGPT in your app, right? And you have the SMS component as well. With Pangea's additional services, is there anything else you would have liked to add to your app that maybe wasn't available when you were writing the app?
In retrospect, I would say if I had a little more time, I probably would have added authentication, auth and also IP intel to further narrow down access.
Nice, nice. And I wanted to ask, when you were deciding on the app, what were you solving for? Or what gave you the idea, I guess, for writing this app?
Right. So I wanted to do something that's simple, but still has simple but yet efficient and has a purpose. So in this example, well, from the demonstration that was shown, the scenario was with a doctor and their patient's data. It could be any other person just wanting to secure their notes, whether it be financial information, whether it be someone who's working in the government or something, and they have data that even their family members not supposed to see. And in this skit, it was it was in this skit, it was just kind of comedic. Where you put down the laptop, but sometimes in real life, there's social engineering or things could just happen and your device could be unattended and someone could access your device who is not supposed to have access. So this is just, I implemented this as a way to mitigate that for the instance that someone accesses your device, an unauthorized user, that they do not have access to information that they should not see or should not know about.
That's great. And I have to ask, where did you get such great acting skills? I love, yeah, you did a great job on the video and choreographing that.
Thank you.
I'm just joking. You don't have to answer that question. Well, great. Before we open this up for any additional questions, I'd like to ask you, I mean, any advice? We've got our Securathon, our health and wellness Securathon happening right now. We're in the final week. Folks are still working on putting in their submissions. Any advice that you'd like to give those contestants or participants?
I would say don't overthink it. Start small, get something working, and incrementally increase. Don't have such a high bar that seems unreachable at the start. Have a simple idea, build upon it, and you will see how far you can go from there.
That's great. Great advice. And I know this is your first year doing hackathons, right? So, and this is the first time you're winning a hackathon.
Yes.
Is that correct? So,
yeah,
excited that it could be with us. Well, good. This is great. So what I'd like to do now, and again, thank you everybody for listening in and working through our audio troubleshooting. I want to open it up for questions. So give me a second here while I
This is Saurabh. Kerisha, I would like to comment on the fact that your hackathon project was, in fact, quite real world and practical. You were solving a real problem, even though you intended to keep it small and focused and try to do it in time that was allocated for the hackathon, but it was quite practical. It has good applicability. I would encourage you to think about its long-term application as a standalone application that you could pursue. But good job. It was well thought. I think you knew what the problems were with regards to shoulder surfing. I would classify that what you were solving for is shoulder surfing, which is a known security problem, right? It's an analog attack where somebody is just overlooking your screen, or is trying to take advantage of an open session that might be left on your computer. Not everybody walks away from the computer locking their screen. Even the screen lock turns on or screensaver turns on after like a minute or so, and that's plenty amount of time for somebody to look at what's being rendered on the UI, and it's a real practical problem. So good job.
Yeah, that's great.
Thank you.
Yeah, I like the fact that you were able to integrate the facial recognition into the application. Is that's separate? Was that how did you do that? Or if you don't mind me asking, did you?
I looked for some models online, and I found one that could be easily integrated with the tech stack I was using. So, it was an existing model that I got, and it's still blessed. So it's really grateful for that.
Right. Well, good. I don't see any questions that have come through. Oh, hold on one second. Let me see here. I just see Vanessa's comment on 3D pinball from Windows. Yeah, I don't see any questions coming through. So it looks like it was very well narrated and clearly very clear in what you accomplished. So again, thank you, Kerisha. I'll go ahead and bring this call to an end. Before I end it, just want to let everyone know that we're in our last week of the Health and Wellness Hackathon. The team here is on standby to answer any questions. Please share your questions through our developer community, Pangea Builders Slack channel. And yeah, that's it. We'll bring this to a wrap. So again, Kerisha, thank you. Oh, we do have a question from Vanessa. Curious what language you use to write the app.
Plain JavaScript.
Nice. Did you use our SDK?
No, I use the API.
Okay.
And I would like to understand, why did you not use the SDK and why did you use the APIs directly? Because you had the flexibility of using the SDK.
Yes, I did. I don't know, personally, I would gravitate to APIs. Just a personal choice.
So no technical reasons.
No.
But if I were to tell you that the SDKs would have made your life easier with regards to error handling, interacting with the APIs with all the required and optional parameters better, and could have speeding up your development of the app, would you change your mind?
Yeah.
And I'm raising that comment, especially when we have listeners who are participating in the next hackathon, which is going on. Hence I bring up, and I'm just bringing awareness to the audience that SDKs are helpful because they have all of these, they have the necessary logic around error handling and retries where necessary. Otherwise, you're writing this on your own, right? I mean, you make a REST endpoint call, if it fails or it gives an error, then you have to account for that in your code. It slows you down. I mean, that's why we're building the SDKs. Okay. So given a choice, you would use it, or given better awareness, you would.
Yeah, I Good. No, it's great. Yeah, we definitely have several SDKs, right? Not just in JavaScript, but Python and
Java and C# and Golang, and we are continuing to add. In fact, in previous hackathon, somebody did create a Rust SDK as well, which was very nice to see, because they were trying to wrap the endpoints in an SDK for those purposes that we expect out of our SDKs as well.
looks like Ikechi. I don't think that was a question. It was just
Yeah, he's just repeating. Okay, got it. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
That would be
Great.
best. Your life can be better by using the SDKs.
Yeah. Well, good. Well, great. I think we've got the questions in. Again, thank you so much for sharing everything with our community. It was great to have you on the call today, and hopefully you'll join us for another hackathon in the future. All right. So look forward to keeping in touch. Thank you so much, Kerisha. Thank you everybody for joining today, and we'll call it a wrap.